I don't know what you mean, but oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah. Uh,
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Salutations. I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. A nice little stream today. Not doing solo dolo today. We got a special guest, Alexander, Shillin Villain. Are you 42, 43, 69? What are you at these days?
I'm at 42. I went back to the OG status.
There you go. I'm glad you still kept your lizard though. I mean, shit. It's been a while since I've seen Green Skull. I actually I remember the green skull because I was in Genesis Alpha. Do you remember Genesis Alpha?
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened to Fade, dude, but I remember seeing yours and Skype's and who else, dude? Somebody was giving out dog water ETH calls in there, and I
Suhan.
knew like yes, holy shit, dude. They some of the stuff I bought, I was like, oh yeah, that seems pretty cool, and I know nothing of what pumps and ETH, so I just decided I was like, yeah, I got some spare ETH on the side. I'll see what it works out, and dude, I am down bad on some of that shit. I just opened up OpenSea like after a month or two, and I was like, what the fuck did I buy? This is awful.
Yeah, he was hard shilling Pixelmon before it revealed, and I got absolutely rinsed on that play.
Oh, dude, that is rough. Yeah, man, I cannot fathom what you had to go through in order to raise as much ETH as they did for Pixelmon and just come out with that absolute dog shit demo. I mean, what was that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I bought way too many of them unrevealed, and
Oh
this,
no.
yeah, yeah. He was like, these are the next big thing, and then uh, I was just gonna leave them unrevealed, but then like the ones that it was so bad. It was just I don't like to blame people, so he didn't make me, but he was hard chilling it so hard. Like it's totally my fault, but it's just like yeah, you pay for these alpha passes, and then you think these people have great alpha, but then it just turns out they're just as lost as you when they're making these calls.
Oh, 100%. No, it's funny too because like I should have learned my lesson because back when I got into crypto in like 2017, there was fuck, what was his name? It was like Crypto Cat or something like that. And he had a Discord, or not a Discord, it was a Slack of all things. And I paid like zero point 0.3 Bitcoin in order to access his Slack. And it was at a time where everything was going up, like a bunch of shit coins. And he's like, look, I made all this profit. You're like, oh yeah, that's sick. And then he kept making calls and they were awful and then just ghosted everybody. And like I should have known from that time, like never to join any kind of alpha group again. And I didn't learn my lesson. 4 years later, 5 years later. Happens, man. How did you get involved with Fade? Like what how did he approach you as like an alpha caller?
Yeah, so before I became like a full time shit poster, like I'm not gonna say I was like a really good alpha person, but I was super early to literally everything. Like I feel like all the early ass whitelists, I killed it, and then he noticed it, and he was like, "Yo, how the fuck are you doing this, man?" And I was just like, "I don't know, just grinding." And then um, he was like, "Do you want to be an alpha caller?" And I was like, "I mean, I can." And then that's pretty much it. Just we just met like and it was I think it was like it was a rug. It ended up being a rug where we met, but we were both like bullish on it, and we were both early as fuck.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, I noticed a few money maxis that were in there beside you, like Skype. Is Skype still a money maxi?
That's a long story, but he is not.
Okay. That's it's good to know. I can't remember how many money maxis I know of. Like Triple M still a money maxi, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Cool. What I mean, like are you still involved at all with them or like what's going on there?
Uh, yeah, I don't want to shill it, but I don't like shilling it. But yeah, I'm involved. I'm one of the 10 founders of it.
Okay. Gotcha. See, I'm too poor to jump into money maxi.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the auctions aren't like a straight up only, so they could dip, and then you could buy in, and then you definitely be able to make profit. Like if they dip, right? If it's just like if you pay attention, like the auctions, like one of ones, sometimes like will like people will miss it, and then you can get in for like 50%, like what the previous ones were going for, and then you can just sell it for like 75% of what they're going for. Make profit. So
That's good. I think the last one I saw was the soccer one. Was it the soccer one? Yeah, it was a striker one, and it was last time I checked, it was like 35 sold, which wasn't bad at all. I mean, I can go into that, but I can't remember how much they're selling for, and they never sell on resale. So you guys are obviously doing something right. Um, but that's neither here nor there. Um, I appreciate you taking the time away from Twitter Spaces. Really appreciate the grill houses. Honestly, I like a healthy bit of skepticism in the market. I think it's really good. I don't know why people criticize you guys for being too hard sometimes. I think it's actually really necessary because people need to be asking the right questions. What made you want to start like gunning for number one and starting these grill houses?
So around like March time frame, like I was still like just straight alpha only type person. And then I was like one of these auctions were going for too much. I didn't like the way it was laid out because we had already been doing our auctions. I'm like, this doesn't make sense the way they're doing this. Like, so I just provided like my feedback and I was like, I don't understand why they're doing this for this. And then like they got so upset that I said something. And I didn't have a big following. This was like when I was super small in March. And they got super upset. And they're like, we want you on a Twitter space. I'm like, dude, I'm like a nobody. Like my opinion doesn't matter. I had like 3 likes. Like who cares what I have to say? But they were anyways, I go on the Twitter space and then I get ridiculed the whole time by like 10 of them. And I'm just like, okay, I should probably get involved in this area. And that's like what really fueled me was just like that event alone was like, okay, I want to make sure like I'm going to be in this space. I want to at least get to the point where I don't need to like tear them down, and I can just build bigger than them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're just trying to level the playing field. It sounded like because that just sounds like a coordinated attack. Like that they didn't even give you a chance or anything like that. So you really you're just trying to level the playing field, and I think it's good. So was that like what set you on this course for? Hey, I'm gonna be number one on NFT Inspect, or what happened
Yeah,
there?
yeah, it kind of did because it was like big influencers in the space all teaming up on me when I was like a super little guy. I'm like, dude, I'm just like a little guy giving a little opinion, like, and then they just like went berserk on me. It was like 10 versus 1 the entire time, and like looking back, like when I thought about it even further, I'm like looking back, I'm like what they were shilling were like the literal top of things, like trying to get people to buy the very top. I'm just like it's whatever. Like everyone shills, it's whatever. But it was just like the way they did it was just I didn't agree with anything they did. Like their priorities are all messed up. Their priority is number one, make money. And if you can, which everyone's priority should be to make money. You need money to survive. I'd be lying if I said I didn't need money to survive. But it's like the priority that it comes in. Like, you do X, Y, and Z, and then like money is there. But like it shouldn't be your number one priority, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think if your aim is to grow the space somehow and bring neutrality and like a critical opinion, it helps bring on more people and be more educated when it comes to it. So it's one of those things that I didn't like where the state of the space was at because it was very much like shitcoin times back in 1718 where all these projects were going mooning because we were at 250 Sol and people were just getting rich off of nothing. So it was nice to see. I like that you bring on people that have kind of differing approaches to grilling people as well. Like I've noticed some people have like a level-headed tone to them. Other people like Solana Sweeper, who I love, and also says some like what the fuck moments come on. But he has some really good points too, and like absolutely grills them.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite people to have on the space because you'll have like whitelist or like everyone thinks that we're like bearish or something. Like we don't have whitelist to all this shit that we're bringing on. Like they want to give us whitelist just to be on, like to get just to get like, and we don't personally. I don't even want whitelist, but they give it to us. So I'm like, do I just take? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna start saying no, thank you to whitelist. So that removes that whole thing. But then like if I say no, then people's counter argument, he's just bearish because he doesn't have whitelist. I'm like, so if I take whitelist, I don't know. I'm in a weird spot where I don't know if I should take it or if I should reject it because I don't want it, but then I don't want the counter argument being he's only bearish because he's not whitelisted because that's what people say. No whitelist, no opinion. I'm like, I don't
Well,
know.
it's funny because like now you have the platform that if you really wanted a whitelist, I feel like you can get it pretty easily on most of these projects. So I think that's like a really moot point, and people need to like fucking chill on that. That seems really argumentative and a big catch 22. But I think that's where you find yourself now that you have a bigger following. You know what I mean? Like You're always going to be caught in these catch 22s, and I see it with a lot of influencers, which is why it's hard to parse like who's the good actors and who's the bad actors. You know what I mean? Like it's once you get that following, you're always going to have those wee woos that just like sit there on the sidelines, like hating for no reason, hating for no fucking reason.
That's free engagement. I love those type of people. I invite those type of people.
Dorian says it's not about how you make the money. It's about how you make the money as well. It shouldn't be using followers that you trust as exit liquidity. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I know Alex does too, which is why, like, honestly, it's pretty impressive that you have the following that you do. And so I don't mind you taking whitelists. Like, you're giving them a platform, and I think you should be compensated somehow. So have there ever been a whitelist that you've taken that you're like, yeah, you know what, like I really support the project, I will take your whitelist because I thought you did really well in the space or anything like that?
No, not really. No, I don't even they offer is the thing. Like I'm not even asking. They normally offer, and then like what I would rather do is like the listeners. That's who I want to give the whitelist to. I'm like if they're listening in, they maybe they like the project, but they're not whitelisted. Like I want the projects to like give every listener a whitelist if they want it, but only to the listeners, only the people that are like getting involved in the community, going out and like because that's what kind of matters to the spaces is the size of the space. Because we make a loud enough noise in these spaces, then other people will be like it'll be like a big explosion. You'll have to turn your head. Like when you drive by a car wreck, you have to turn your head and look. That's all we need is get them to look like what you're doing right now. PNB people are looking. They're like, oh shit, we need to get in because this seems interesting.
Right, absolutely. And I don't think so. I guess my question for you would be like, you should, I mean, 100% business minded, Alex. You should like monetize this somehow. So, what would you say is like a proposal for monetizing it that you think is fair to yourself and listeners and participants and everything in between?
Oh yeah, I don't even want to go down that route because as soon as you start monetizing, you just kill your road at that point. Then you're like the way I like to think of it is like you can become like almost like a genie where you have like kind of power, but then you have like you're trapped in this fucking lamp where you can only grow so big. But if you remove the money aspect thing, like if like of course you want to everyone wants money, but like if you remove that, you can go so much fucking bigger because now you have zero limits. Like the best people in the NFT space have limits.
Right. So I think what I'm hearing is like you're saying that you're trying to use the platform and what you're trying to like there's opportunities that present itself, right? And you value those more than like just straight monetization off the platform.
Yeah, if I wanted to monetize, like I would just open my DMs, and it's insane. Like I can't even explain to you like how much people want to just give me money just so I will like help them or something. Not even help them, but I can see why people go down that route because people are just like nonstop. So I don't even open them at this point because it's like nonstop. Hey, will you do this? Will you do that? Will you do like an AMA with us? So we've changed the AMA standard to be you have to have 998 mutual follows. I don't know how I can see past that on Twitter. If I could, I would probably up it even higher. But like almost no project meets that standard, and I'm running into a problem that I can't create content. So I might have to like lower that standard just so I can continue to create content. Because what happened was Pilgrims, I was like, I liked them, but then I was like, I don't really know how many authentic followers. They had a ton of followers, and then in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, oh, they only had 500 mutual followers. I should have never taken that. So like the majority of their community was just like botted.
Right.
But yeah. So
What
now it's like I don't care what they have to offer. It's like you either have 998 or we're just not going to do it.
yeah. What where did it come? So you're saying past 998, that's the threshold that Twitter allows you to see, right? So you're saying when you have more than that, you can't see more than 998. That's the threshold you determined?
Right. That's like the best analytic I could find that was like to prove that the problem is I don't know like what the fuck is bought because everyone bots their followers, everyone bots their like likes and retweets, everyone bots their Discord announcements. It's like where do I go? And that's like the only thing I think they haven't figured out how to bot are my mute. They're gonna probably like get people to follow me or some shit and it'll fuck it all up. And then I shouldn't even be telling people what I'm doing because they're gonna try to fix that now, I think. But there's only been like one project as of late to do it, and then they backed out of the AMA last minute. I was so pissed off. I was so pissed about that.
Oh, do you want to spill who it was, or are you gonna keep that on the wraps?
Um, the only thing is, if I spill it, I feel like it's free content for them. So
Yeah.
this is what happened. The Pilgrims, I think it was the Pilgrims AMA. Like I wanted to get feedback. Like after every AMA, I always get feedback, see how we can improve. And people were like, "You guys need to do like a short interview with them beforehand, so because you guys look like you guys know zero about the project." So I was like, "Okay, we'll do a short interview this time, in private." I brought one of the other grillers with me, and we had like five of their team members listening in, and we did like a 1 hour private grill session, and they did absolutely terrible. But I was like, even I told them like, here's where you need to fix. I gave them like 4 bullet points where I'm like, you need to have short and concise answers for these because as soon as people like see a crack in the armor, they're just going to attack it nonstop. But if you can like just shut it down with a simple like short answer and just keep on repeating that pretty much, then they won't go back to it. And so I gave those 4 things to work on, and then like the day, like not even like a few hours before, like we can't do it. I was just like, I had canceled an AMA for that AMA. I was so pissed off, man.
Oh,
But I don't
that's
want to say their
rough.
name. Yeah, dude, I want to say their name because it's like free con. It's just upsetting because
Yeah.
they said they wanted to do it. We went out of our way. So I'm never doing another private because they would have done it had it not been a private AMA and they didn't get dunked on the entire time. And that's the other thing. Like people think we're just going out there dunking on people. Dude, we're literally asking the same questions. Like, what are you using your mint funds on? And normally it's some dog water answer, and I'm just like, okay, well, let's dive in a little bit deeper. Why are you using 70% to pay the team? And then people take that as FUD. I'm like, dude, that's just a question. That's not FUD. Just a question.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really funny. I didn't even think about the private interviews, and that's a really good point because I feel like it's more candid if they just come on and you guys just ask like normal questions, and if they aren't prepared, like that's on them, and really they should take that to heart. Like, hey, shit, we need to like really hone up on it. You guys are doing them a favor. I don't see anything wrong with it, and I think it's kind of silly that anybody would. Um, so how did you like determine, because you've built like a number of speakers that have come onto the spaces, like how did you determine who you want to bring on more regularly and to kind of help out with the grill house?
Personally, I don't want to bring on anyone more regularly, and just like doing the regular Twitter Spaces, or like what I actually personally like to do is like join Twitter Spaces, listening in, and then I can like hear who the good speaker is, and then I'll like privately message them like, hey man, you want to do this? And then, but then now it's to the point where like if I join, people will like antagonize me to try to come speak, really annoying. So I just host my own Twitter Spaces and just like cycle people in as much as I can and just like listen to them for a minute. And if I like the way they're speaking, if I like the kind of questions they're asking, just like, in general, I'll like DM them like, hey man, would you want to be? The important part is like it's always like swapping, so it's not like just some like it's the we become this like entity like of just the same bullies over and over. Like
Right.
I think it's important to have like and almost to the point though where I don't know if I should just do the AMAs by myself. I'm kind of like tinkering with that idea. Like, do I want to have? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I kind of like having somewhat of a panel, but maybe keep it to like two rotational guest speakers and keep it to a minimum, because sometimes there is a little bit of clutter as far as voice space goes. I really like the whole, thank you for respecting the raised hand bullshit you guys had going on, because that actually, it does kind of grind my gears when people just start talking over each other and you get more lost in emotion than focusing on the point of the whole like ordeal. So what I would try tinkering with is maybe like a shorten the panel, and then if you feel like you get more content or more directed content, because the point of this is like transparency, you're just trying to bring transparency to the space. So if you feel like you can do that better by yourself, like by all means, I don't think you're going to find any resistance for it, and I think the people who are going to be upset are just clout chasers. So that's my 2 cents. That's it's your spaces at this point, dude. Like people come because they respect your questions, or they some people are just wanting drama. So I think if you feel like it's going more towards the drama point, then you should kind of refocus it back on the whole premise of the grill house.
Yeah, like that's the people. That's what people get from it is that it's like a drama. Like it's like the way I look at it, it's like a slam dunk competition. Like it turns into like who can dunk on this project the hardest is gonna, like you said, you like Solana Sweeper, and he's out there doing like reverse dunks on motherfuckers. Oh, I don't know if I can curse, sorry, but
No, you're fine.
yeah, so he'll go out there, and like other people do like behind the back, and like everyone's asking all these crazy questions, trying to get them to make like their fools. But what I want to happen is a project to like block. I've seen it happen. Like I've seen Solana Sweeper get shut down, like blocked in the face, and then he makes look like a clown. But like as of late, the projects either they just come up unprepared, or they just shouldn't even be minting out yet, or it's just it's a handful of things. But we're not perfect, right? We
Right.
thought we thought Great Goats were going to do terrible. Like they're not going to sell out, but they ended up selling out and like mooning. I mean, they came back down, but like I didn't even think they're going to sell out. And the primates, we were like, we don't like their business model, but the art was good enough. So, like I said, we're
Yeah.
not perfect, and we're just
Yeah, that was one of the most recent comments was yeah, primates should go back to 0.98 based on Twitter space Alex had with them. I feel like a lot of people harp in on your guys's like those two bad calls. And I wouldn't even say the Great Goats one was bad. Like that's just, that's a game of musical chairs. Like it's whoever can buy soonest and sell out because you had to. What the fuck are Great Goats doing? You know what I mean? Like that was a clear and obvious don't buy this, and I don't mind missing an occasional 5x. I think it went to like 10 or 12 soul, and it was what I a 2.75 mint or
yeah.
something like that. So yeah, that's one of those that's like high risk, high reward game of musical chairs. The primates one, yeah, that was an interesting one. I did not expect them to go nearly as high as they did, and I mean you're right. Some of their answers were kind of bullshit, but have you thought about grilling like uh, projects that are already existing, like instead of just minting, that are like I don't know because I guess there's more transparency with those projects because they're already established and they're already trying to build something. I guess it would be less content driven than mints. Mints are just an easy way to find out who's bullshitting you or not.
I do think that we should look into secondaries, but the problem is the bullish sentiment that it will like instill. Like if I'm selecting projects, it's not going to be like some dog shit project. It would be like I want to interview like famous Foxy Dev because he's an asshole. Like do it,
Yes.
yeah, do like an official with like DJ Apes, PFO, like all the quote unquote blue chips. I think it would be fun to like just go around them. Like it would also like raise aware. So it would raise awareness for the good NFTs in the space. So it would be a good thing. But like I said, I don't know if they would be down for it. Like I don't think Foxy Dev would come on, right? I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm familiar with them. I think it's funny because part of me likes the troll sentiment, but also there's like legit business questions that he just like completely fades sometimes, and it kind of drives me up a wall because like they have an opportunity. Like, dude, the infrastructure they've installed into this space is like undeniable what they've done, but it's like you have business decisions that could really drive yourself into like certified blue chip status and you just continue to kind of look the other way. So I think it'd be good. I think it's at the point where it's almost like they view it where there's very little to gain and everything to lose kind of situation, but that shouldn't be how it's viewed. Like they should I think it would make their project more long term. I don't know, but that's just me. So um, dude, you told me about a new job that you have in Web3. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I'm very curious to hear what it is.
Yeah, like people think I have no job, bro. My job was they hired me. They're like, we want you to literally change nothing. I was like, nothing. Like, no, we want you to just do exactly what you're doing. I'm like, okay, that sounds too good to be true, but it wasn't. So that goes back into like the whole money is a priority. It's like that money priority thing just fell like so far down the list because I just do what I really like doing, and that's like building. Like that's such a cliche term, shit posting, and web 3 type scenarios. Like I do these Twitter spaces, like just continue doing what I'm doing is like literally my job.
Yeah. Yeah. So like are you working for a company? Are you allowed to divulge that? What's going on there?
Mm, can we come back to that and then I'll
Yeah.
let you know? So I
Yeah,
don't know
for
if you had like
sure.
another topic we could, and then I'll pivot back to it if I can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about mints and stuff. Are you active at all in this market? I mean, because everything kind of looks like dog shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like the amount of profit that you have, especially with Sol at what sub 40 now, just doesn't really. I'm buying is stuff I see as like good DCA projects. Um, like what are you doing right now in this market?
Uh, Trying to build the platform, debating on if I should branch out to another platform like TikTok or YouTube. I think I
Yeah.
might try the TikTok route. You guys already have the YouTube route. I don't know. But as far as like minting, and it's been very low. The last thing I minted was the one thing you were shilling, you and Shake. Oh God, what was that? It's a gaming one.
Oh, Shinsen Goku.
Yes,
Yeah, it
that was
it
the last time I minted.
yeah, it did really well. I'm sad because, dude, it could have been something, and then they absolutely shit the bed on their coding, and they found a bug. I guess my red flag should have been like they only have one dev, which for a game, especially one that's launched with the game, which is already bullish in itself because so many P2E games are like, yeah, we're gonna have a game. You know, it's why I was so bullish on Remnants and still am because they actually do shit. Um, Shin like botched it, man. They had everybody was pumped to like go attack people and shit. Like it was fun to pass the bear market in, and since they fell flat on their face, like I'm worried for. I hate saying P2E games because that's such a Ponzi fucking term. Like like play to earn, dude. You're adding nothing to society by playing a game, and you think you're gonna earn something. Like I think that's ridiculous. Like play for the ownership of assets, yeah, that's like what Web3 is. So, like back in World of Warcraft or whatever you've played in high school or something like that, like Halo 3. I remember grinding for like the Hayabusa armor and like having that account and being able to sell it because you can't against Halo 3 terms. Like you can't sell your gamer tag, you can't sell your Xbox account. You would be able to in Web3. And I think that's like the whole premise of it. It's just like make a really fucking fun game where people have like a marketplace like Counter Strike or something like that. And I think too many games are going off the Ponzi promise. It's like, oh yeah, you play our game, you're just gonna make this magic internet money. Um, and I think Shin almost like they had the right mindset. Like it was like, hey, it's just a basic fun game. We're gonna build it out from there, and they fell flat on their face. Like it lasted for a couple days, and then everything went to shit. Like you couldn't attack people and whatnot, and it's sad. Honestly, I hope they make a rebound, but it's really hard to get that attention back on a project once you fail like that. I mean, that's a hard fall on your face.
Yeah, you had to have a big announcement, and that's like always like curious to me is like how projects do bounce back. Like how in the hell did Shake regain engagement?
Yeah, yeah. It was tough because dude, that went from zero point 0.3 sold to peaked out at 17, and then we got. I know for a fact that a lot of the price suppression that's going on right now is caused by a few boogles that thought it was just gonna like I guess ultimately moon, and they ended up selling. They swept it to like dude 15 or something like that, and they were selling this morning at like 5 sol. Like you just took a 67% loss after what just like a few days. Like what are you doing? I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't get it, but a lot of people like losing money in this market, dude. It's sad to see Shin go 2x and could have had a straight pave way to 10 because I actually think the pixel art sometimes overplayed, but they did pixel art really well. And I honestly haven't really minted anything since then either. I actually did mint Exomon today, like I was saying earlier, and that seems to be doing good. The last time I checked, but we'll see. That's one of those P2E games, man. That's not going to come out for another quarter, so we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, it's been really quiet, dude. Have you seen what the Magic Eden Soul volume is right now?
No.
Dude, it's 65K, which that's like that's like months and months before like we even went to like 100 soul or something like that. That's awful. That's not even close. Like a couple months ago, we were hitting like 300 soul. It's because we were on the backs of OK Bears and um, reptiles and shit like that. So I mean, it was a good time, and now we're at what, 20% of that. It's kind of insane to me. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
I dude, I didn't track I never tracked that. But you said 300,000 Solana was the
In
normal.
24 hours. Well, it was at one point, yeah. And then like a good day for us is like anything above, um, really 100 Sol. I would say is like, that's a pretty standard day. 150 Sol once, before we were at like $40 Sol, and now it's dog water. There's not a whole lot moving right now, and we've actually seen a lot less activity, and nobody's talking about it. Zero people. I think I've seen Cozy was sent out one tweet about it, but other than that, nobody's really talked about how much volume's going to shrunk up. So it's not good. I've been on the sidelines. I think that was the last, besides Cyber Samurai and then Examon. The only reason I did it was because it's one soul, and the team actually seems like they're pretty competent. But um, yeah, maybe you should have them on the Grill House because they actually are above mint after the first couple of hours, which is something new. That's always good to see.
I'll consider it. I don't. I'll look at them after this.
Okay. Um,
So so real quick, they said it was fine. I'm working for an NFT project. I'm helping build out their socials, which is like consists of not very much, right?
right.
I like on my personal, like I just build connections and come on space. Well, not space, but like here I am right now. I'm talking a little bit about it. I guess you could consider it a show. But it's like I only like I said, like there's so many opportunities that I just get to choose what I want, and like they showed me that opportunity. Like literally do what you're doing. You don't need to do anything more. You don't need to do anything less. Just like host your Twitter Spaces, shit posts, and then I like did a little investigation on them. The team's the best team I think on any NFT project I've ever seen. They're like well funded as well. They have like Coinbase, Google, the Solana team all vested money into this team. It's going to be the biggest NFT. Like it sounds cliche, but it literally will be whenever they launch. Which they don't really have like a time frame to launch. They're more so waiting for the market to be in the right conditions.
That's good. Okay. I guess we're not gonna say a name or anything like that. It sounds like they're still out from mint.
How,
So
how many people? Is there less than 10 people watching right now?
we're at 19. We got
Okay,
19 people watching.
okay. Then it's called Symbol with a C. So
Symbol.
yeah,
Okay, so like CYMBAL.
yeah. I'll like typically just like retweet it, but like
Okay,
yeah, we're just
good to
slowly
know.
building it. There's like no rush. Like just do it when you do it. Pretty much is what they told me. So they'll probably end up firing me one day, and then but
That's fair.
but like I said, like the money thing has like the very lowest priority. Why I'm doing this, like everything checks out. I think they're gonna do something cool in Web3. Like I want to be part of it, and it just happens to be that they're gonna pay me to continue doing what I'm doing. Like I'm not changing that's the problem. When you start taking money, you start changing the way you behave.
Yeah, yeah. You start getting a little friendlier on those spaces. You start tweeting out a few more friendly posts and stuff like that. And I think ultimately, once you turn shit poster, I don't think you really turn back unless you start taking money. Um, wait, how much better is your life now that you're a shit poster versus like an alpha guy?
Um, the only reason I like sharing alpha, but I don't like causing pump and dumps. So
That's
that's what
fair.
happens whenever I like to show like it'll end up pumping, and then it's like I'm just the only reason I used to shill was to like because I like the project, and then I now if I shill, it's like it could end up turning it into a bad thing.
Right. That I mean that's fair. And then I feel like, like I said, once you get that following, like anything you do is like hyper under a microscope. So if shit fails and like you had honest intentions behind it, there's nothing really to track your honest intentions. And then you start looking like all these other shills. I mean, you get an insight as to what influencers are like now that you are, you're number one on NFT and spec. That's nothing to really trifle with. So, like, you probably get a better insight as to what people are accepting for payments and stuff in the influencer realm. Is how would you identify who's a good actor in the influencer space versus who's a bad actor? And what would you say the ratio is between good and bad?
Oh, dude, it's so like it's very hard to like figure out people's priorities. It's so hard. Like people that I think I can trust is like I'll later find out that I shouldn't have been trusting them, and it just like it drives me nuts, dude. It literally is the hard, like I trust like you, Shake. Like I don't really trust the people that get a ton of social engagement because they're like normally once you get to that level, you have like just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity thrown at you, and it's hard to like not capitalize on them opportunities. Like today, it was like a bigger YouTube person that we found, and he was getting paid like 6,500 to be like kind of like a shiller. Like if someone offered you Bison 6,500, would you turn it down? If like okay, all you have to do is make a video on us, and we'll give you 6,500.
Yeah, I would personally because I this is more of a fun like transparency project for me versus like this is my only source of income because I am I'm still involved with real estate. That is my main source by far. Whatever $6,500 to me really isn't, what a commission check is for a house sale is like way more than that. And then I would be selling out a platform which I know we are still so. I know it sounds so fucking cliche, but we're still early in Solana NFTs, and I believe that. I believe we are the platform that like could actually move NFTs forward besides just like quote unquote branding, um, and like we actually have the platform that games should be built on that fucking real estate transactions should take place on. So I think building now a brand of trust would actually be more beneficial in the long run, especially since I have income elsewhere. So like, why would it be worth it for me to sell out a brand I've worked a decent bit on? I probably haven't gone as hard as you like with a 500 tweets a day or whatever, but like I still have I've still worked to foster good healthy relationships with different projects, and I'd say I have that. I'm actually low key kind of trying to fly out to go meet up with Remnants, the dev team over there, and talk about future business. But like that shit happens because I I was involved in the project and I'm honest and I just shared feedback, right, and my experiences. So no, I don't view things as like a one time sum, sort of like $6,500. Like yeah, that sounds nice, but it starts losing its value, and eventually I feel like if you take enough of those and people start seeing through your bullshit, like people are you're just going to lose not only your trust in your brand, but also the trust in like companies to pay you that it's actually going to move the needle forward for them on their project, their pump and dump or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would have never gotten the opportunity that I got with Symbol had I like started taking all these other payments. Like I would have been constantly diluted. Um, and yeah, like what you just said, that once you start taking payments, it's like, dude, it's like you immediately start losing your reputation, and it's just like a hard thing to get back. I don't even know if it's possible to get back. I know for me, like if I start seeing that shit, I'll never, you'll never get your reputation back with me. But so there are like promoters that I get along with, and I like them, but it's not. But they're just open about it. Like I know like what they're doing, and they're not trying to hide. It's the people that are like trying to hide it in the back scene and pretend like they're not something that they are. Is the people that like really grind my gears. And I used to like enjoy just squashing them, but because now it's just like I'm wasting time squashing them when I should waste my time like building something, like rather than doing like a long ass thread about why this influencer is a piece of shit. Maybe you guys didn't know. I'd rather just do a space and then talk about like the just like the NFT space and how we can go forward. Like I'd rather spend my time doing that. Although it is fun squashing ants with sledgehammers, I just don't feel like it would be beneficial. Like, and it is not beneficial in any way.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like your time's probably better spent furthering the space. Rivatosh, I'll get to your question real quick. So he said, "Hey, can you ask Alex what will happen if that NFT project requests him to promote the project and it creates a pump and dump?" I think that's what he's trying to say, Rivatosh, is that he doesn't accept those promotions. Are you trying to ask if like he'll out them or anything like that? Because I think this kind of piggybacks off of the influencer question where like your time is better spent focusing on furthering the space than like trying to just screenshot every single DM and calling them out. Like, because all they're gonna do, it's kind of the same way as taking payment. Like, if you do that enough, if you call out enough people, like all they're gonna do is just like go into somebody else's DM. So I guess that kind of helps you in a sense where you have less people bothering you, but it doesn't like after a while they're gonna stop exposing themselves to you, and they'll just go find somebody who will take their shill. So it's just a short term benefit. I think that's like with payments, with calling people out. Like, yeah, it's good for a little bit, but eventually it goes away, and then you just lost like interest in your brand or trust in your brand. And I think that's where the real opportunity comes is when you're actually building authentic trust. And that's kind of what I built my real estate business on, and that's why I can like literally sit back and shit post most of the day because I have people who work for me and I just feed them leads, and I take a fair cut rather than this bullshit 50-50 split on their commission. So yeah, it's all about building authentic business, and that's what builds it to like last, right? So I appreciate you asking the hard questions. I know sometimes like a lot of people will say like, oh yeah, you come across as an ass, but it's just because you're not cozying up to projects. Like I don't see that as you being an ass. I think that's just you being transparent and asking questions others aren't.
Yeah, I mean, there's some projects that I absolutely love, but I just feel like I shouldn't be using this platform to like shill them. Like, I don't know. That's just like something I have to deal with because I've never been put in this type of position where like if I say something, maybe people will buy shit. Because it happened like before I got even super popular. Like I was like on a Twitter space, I was like, yeah, I like this one project. It's super low key. Make sure if you're thinking about buying, join the Discord. Don't just buy it because I'm telling you to buy it. But here's why I like it. I gave like a 2 minute spiel on like why I like this project, and then it instantly triggered like 20 sales. I'm like, oh my god, bro. So then I
Right.
was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. It's why back in 2017, 2018, I was telling everybody to buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, I'm like, go ahead and buy this. Like, it's going to change everything. And that was like sub $1,000, for a Bitcoin, sub 100 for Ethereum, and then they finally noticed when like Bitcoin was at like $14,000 and Ethereum was at what like 1,200, and they bought it and it went up a little bit. They're like, "Oh, Bryce, you're so smart." I was like, I don't. I feel like you should probably not be buying right now." And then all of a sudden it crashed, and I literally had one guy that like blamed me for his shitty trading. And I think that was when I was like, yeah, there's no point in trying to shill to people or like give a good thesis because they won't pay attention until it runs up and then they buy it and then they blame you for all their faults. So I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where like at what point, Alex, do you think like you hit that spot where you're like, I can't be shilling projects anymore? Like what following count was that?
mm, it was weird. This account didn't have a crazy following account, but like still a shit ton of people would join the spaces early on. Probably like less than 5K. Like
Okay.
it was like it was on that Twitter space, like literally because that project had like zero sales within like the past 3 days. And I was like, here's a low key project. They're doing this shit. And then I kid you not, like over 20 sales. They weren't expensive. It was an expensive project. I still really like the project. I'm not gonna say what name it is, but that was the moment I was like, okay, I can no longer use my platform because people are going to just pump and dump projects, and it's gonna make it even worse because the way I see it, like Coinbase, whenever they were getting ready for the NFT run up, and we saw this with FTX as well. Like they would immediately say this project's getting added to Coinbase NFT, and it would cause this pump and dump. But the pump would go, but the dump would always go harder. So
Yeah.
that's like what I've noticed with like whenever you see like something that you think is going to pump, like the dump is always harder. So then it's actually worse for the project if I try to shill it really hard because
Yeah.
I mean we could see it like in other. I don't. I'm not gonna say anything, but you can see it with like there's someone in the space who's like if he says anything about a project, it immediately pumps. But like a week later, it'll be lower than where they initially said something.
Yeah, I want to say I'll say it. I think that's Frank and bless his heart. Like it's not.
I didn't say it.
I
I
know.
didn't
I
say that
said,
shit.
look, I'm a low key influencer, right? Like I'm operating in the shadows. And I stream to like 20 people at a time. So that's I can say that shit. But no, and it's not like Frank just gets excited sometimes and he's like, yeah, fuck, like this seems pretty cool. And people are like, Frank said something like, buy it, buy it, buy it. And it's just like fucking it. I bless his heart, dude. He can't say anything nice about anything. And I think that's why a lot of these D gods projects pump is because they're like, oh, they're affiliated with D gods because they have a D god, so therefore, like Frank must like it. I that sucks. Like he doesn't even have to say anything at times, and shit just pumps because they have some sort of affiliation just because they own a D god. Uh, that like that causes like a psychological pump in some people's brains, and I think that's a really silly way of investing. You know, we saw that with Vandal City, but I did like Vandal City at what 1.3. I called it on the last stream where there's like 4 people watching, and I was like, hey, I think Vandal City's gonna pump, and that's why I like it right now because I don't have to worry about the shit you do, Alex. Like I can make calls and nobody fucking cares because nobody's watching. So um, most people will always over look for someone else to blame when they're overinvested. True, MK. Yeah, that's you're gonna find a lot of finger pointing, and it's really easy to do since we're all cyber, right? Like we're all pointing fingers at a fucking animal picture. Like what? Oh no! Like, and they can keep getting away with it sometimes too. Like I feel like there's so many people that have called out like some of these massive influencers and people still follow them. People like that's also on you guys too. Like you need to unfollow those fuckers. So I don't know, man. Cool. I Alex, is there anything else you want to talk about? This actually been super fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, whatever you wanted to cover, we can cover. If that's it. That's it.
No, I think I'm just kind of looking around like man, this space. I feel like a lot of people are building behind the scenes right now, and I like that you said you're focusing on your platform. I think that's good. I think it'll kind of bring clarity, and also when we do see the next pump, I think it'll be. I'm not talking about geobots beyond. God bless. Sorry, I guess I do get some people shilling in my
Dude,
comments.
it, and it's like, okay, I want to also, since you brought up Frank, we'll talk about it for a second. It's to the point where like he'll join. He doesn't even need to shill shit, right? He'll join a Discord. He joined Ghost Kid DAO. He's like, he wants to support projects that support him. So Ghost Kid was like one of the first projects to like buy a whole bunch of dust and put it into their treasury, and they were just doing that before the whole like whitelist thing. They were just doing that to do that. So he's like, okay, I fuck with these guys because they're in our ecosystem, so I support. Like he supports literally anyone that supports DGod. You'll probably get Frank's support. So they buy a whole bunch of dust. He joins the Discord. He's like, hey guys, I just bought one. And he shows a picture of it, and then instantly everyone in Ghost Kid, oh my god, they tweeted it out like Frank bought. Like that wasn't his intentions, but it's just like doesn't, yeah, like you said, man, like doesn't matter what you do, they're just going people are going to use your name to shill. So that's why I go down the route of only fudding, not fudding, only questioning mints that are coming out, and once they're on secondary, they're on their own. I'm not going to talk to them at all.
Right. Yeah, that kind of brings up an interesting point. Like I don't know. It's easier to deal with the FUD side of things if you have a following and people are just like, oh, you're mad because you don't have whitelist. Like, yeah, that doesn't tarnish anything. You're just asking the right questions. Whereas, like, you show them a little bit of praise and everybody thinks you're this insider trainer or anything like that. It's really fucking annoying, dude. Like, I can't imagine somebody, and there's no way to tell like what people's intentions are, right? Like, I'd like to think we most of us do the right thing for the right reason, but it's hard to tell, and like people are really good at masking that, especially over Twitter. I feel like that's one of the reasons that we like Twitter so much is because yeah, we have mostly anonymity, but it's also like really easy to just skirt on out. Like, dude, function coming out as Shill Nye. Like, I don't know how long you've been in crypto, Alex, but like Shill Nye was he was an interesting character back in the crypto days, man. He definitely took some shills. It seems like he's reformed himself. I like function now, but I was kind of taken away or taken aback by that. Like I also loved how he took over the Radio Shack Twitter. I thought that was funny. You should start doing that too. You should offer to take over Twitter accounts.
Take over Twitter account. A lot of people want me to.
I
Like
think that'd be
that
funny.
that's what I don't know. Like that's what I'm. Dude, go look at symbols shit posting. Like that's. Dude, just go look at it if you have a second. It's
Yeah,
very informal, just shit posting, just having fun in the ecosystem. Feels like so. Um, dude, it's just fun.
I'm gonna find their handle. There's so many fucking symbols out there.
It's CYMBAL. Literally, kind of weird spelling, but
NFT?
did
Like, do they have
I,
NFT in their Twitter handle? Because
um,
when I search symbol, it's coming up with like Sibian symbols or something like that.
I'm sorry, symbol XYZ.
Okay, there you go.
I wanted to ask, did you mint anything this morning? Because there was two semi okay mints. There was the Sphinx and there was what's the other one? Alpha Secret Society. Was it Alpha Secret?
Yeah. I think I heard about them. No, except besides Exomon, and that was because I got in pretty early with them. I think they did like a whitelist giveaway with um it was first come first serve with the bothead team. And so I joined in just to kind of check in. They seem like just really wholesome people. And I saw that nobody was talking about them, which I'm actually kind of bullish on projects that don't have a huge they actually do have a lot of followers though, so I'm curious to see like if they bought any followers, but I think they did like whitelist giveaways and stuff. Um, but no, besides Exomon, no, I didn't mint Secret Sphinx, which kind of looks like Cats on Crack to me. And what's the other one? I don't even know what the other one is. Alpha signals or whatever. I can't remember what's called.
Exomon minted. They minted out.
Yeah, they
What
meant it
was there?
out.
There were
There's
one sold. Did they insta mint?
it was. I mean, it was an instrument. It was a pretty solid like a mission though, and it was a 10K mint.
Wow. Yeah, they
Yeah,
only so they wouldn't. Someone they wanted me to do an AMO with them, and I didn't because they only have 461 other followers, so they didn't meet the test. Like, I kid you not, Bison. Literally every single Solana NFT DMs me. Like, there's not one that doesn't. Like, I'm not kidding.
you probably can't keep up with them. Like, dude, you're gonna need an assistant at some point.
No,
Like,
I don't.
I'm
I'm
saying that like in a very serious sense. Like that shit could probably get on your fucking nerves.
no, it's not bad. A lot of people help me like find shit, but that's why I just made it quantifiable to being just 998 because that's hard to replicate. And even that project went under the radar. The only issue is we would never interview like projects that are building that aren't really concerned about building their socials. But I think
Right.
socials is like a huge point of NFTs personally. Like, I don't know if you're like big into utility, but I'm big into socials.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a really fair point. I guess it's just hard. I wonder if there's some way because I was looking up like okay, for instance, Trip and Ape Tribe when they came through, I saw them pretty early and I was like, oh, I bet this will do pretty good. You know, we're still in kind of a monkey meta and trippy meta, and that sounds good. And the next thing I know, it just like shipped all the way up to like 100K, 200K, 300K, and I checked. There's a website that checks for bots and it's like, oh yeah, 95% of the users are real, and I was like, there's no shot, there's zero shot. So I'm not sure like what's going on there, but yeah, there's got to be some way we can identify like who's real, and I guess the mutual followers, that's good. So you probably follow a lot of people then, right? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of like a lot of real people. I guess you're gonna have to if you want to get them to pass the test.
Yeah. There's I'll make some exceptions. So there's like a project that's coming up, but it's not for a while, so they may even build out their socials. But there's a couple. I don't know if I should be like saying names like that. How many people are listening?
Let's check real quick. We are at 17 right now.
Oh, okay, dude. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't know how low key this was because
I,
sometimes
I
like, shit will
I'm
blow
telling you,
up.
man. I'm
Okay, no,
telling
this
you.
is dude. These are my types of shit. Like, I used to love going into like Twitter Spaces with just like 10 people, and we just like do these types of conversations. But um, so like everyone knows like there's no intentions of like bad doing because like who are you gonna fucking like, dude? It's so small, you're not getting anywhere with it.
That's right.
So I like Liberty Square. They're kind of small. They join like literally every space. Like, and I like. Have you heard of Parrot Tools? I think
No.
it's called
What's
Parrot
Parrot?
Tools. Parrot. Damn it. might not be called Parrot Tools. It is just called Parrot. I guess it's just called Parrot. I'm trying to find their Twitter so you can look it up. It is, yeah, it's called Parrot Tools, no space. That's what I did. Parrot Tools, no space. But I demoed their product. I liked it. They're not minting for a while though, but they only have 581 mutuals.
Yeah,
And
that's tough, man. Because then you have to there's some that fly under the radar, but I get why you're doing it. Like you want to make sure that you're respecting people who actually grind their socials. Like that's important to you, and which it should be. I think it should be important for a lot of people. But it sucks that like there's going to be people that and I feel like part of the reason is because if they do a whitelist giveaway and they're like, hey, I think it'd be good if we partner with some people, well, it just kind of starts piggybacking off itself. Like a bunch of bots, start liking it and following them, and they're like, yeah, like let's go just bot the shit out of this account. That kind of sucks.
yeah, I mean, and it's so hard to tell like what's true engagement. So like another good thing I like to look at is a non-giveaway tweet. That normally tells it, but then like they'll bot that. But if you look at Parrots, it doesn't look bot. It looks, you just like scroll down through it, there'll be like 70 likes, 70 likes. Like there'll be one with 500. So it looks like they're not botting. I would like to get as many whitelists for this one as possible and just hold, right? I don't even like,
Yeah,
at this point it's just like what do you even sell for at this point? Like for a $40 flip, like just hold it, and then if
dude, that's what I'm
whenever,
saying.
yeah, dude,
Like
and like
the only thing that was worth flipping, I guess, lately has been primates, and I mean, besides that, it's been so fucking like, dude, why are you guys buying shit, like minting shit, and then selling it for half off, or like celebrating a fucking .5 soul gain? And you're like, wow, just another day in the books. Like, no, go have more ambition than that, guys. Like this is the time to invest in cheap shit right now. Like buy cheap soul, invest in projects that are actually doing something. DCA if you want to buy multiple, and just hold, dude. Like it doesn't. What else are you gonna do right now? Like it doesn't make any sense to me that people are selling, like really good projects. So if they want to, that's fine. But $20 worth of soul doesn't really get me up in the morning. Like that doesn't really get me going for the day. And I would challenge people to like have more ambition than that, dude. Like it's really sad to see.
yeah, it I like, okay, so if you, the way I look at it, man, is like the NFTs. I think everyone looks at it kind of like it's like almost like options, and like you can buy your common stock, which would be like your cryptos, and then you can buy your options, like a leverage position, which would be your NFTs. I kind of look at like, if you believe that cryptos are going to make it, I think you should be like aping into NFTs, but not okay. That's like an objective, like what's not a shitty NFT, but like one that's been
Right.
around for a couple months and is still around is would be my, like, it doesn't matter what the floor price is. It's just, did they mint out a couple months and are they still around? I'm more of a time frame person rather than like a floor, because the floor price will eventually, if you're consistent enough, will just eventually work its way out. And I'm more of a, like, if they've been here since November at least, then I feel safe just like parking my soul in there versus just parking my soul in soul.
Right. That's fair. I mean, I'm very much the same way where I have enough dry on the side, just in case like I do see opportunity. Right now, nothing really looks great until I start seeing volume pick up on Magic Eden. Like I'm in enough positions where like I could probably go out on vacation for the next 2 months, come back and still feel comfortable in where I position myself. So yeah, I think I just like look, respect to the people that want to flip right now, go for it. But I think you could be doing something better with your time and like getting more involved in the space besides just like buying projects and flipping them. I think there's more opportunity out there. So hopefully you find that guys, you find that encouraging. But I know Alex, I'm happy to hear that you're like trying to build a platform. I think it's like a good platform too. I think it's something we need, especially right now where like yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to get bearish on a lot of shit. I was actually just about to scroll through Twitter. I saw Secret Alpha Lab said we fucked up, we'll fix it, and I was gonna ask if you seen it, and of course you're the first fucking reply on there. This is going to age like milk. It's true. Yeah, I never really got what they're trying to do there. Like it doesn't. Talk less, do more. They aren't doing anything. Their art looks like fucking dog shit, dude. This looks like a PS1 game.
Yeah, and it's funny because I DM'd them and they didn't get back to me, and I was like, okay, this is like immediate red flag because I was like, hey man, let's hop on a space, and they're like, they just didn't get back. Like I was just like, whenever that happens, it's just like so many red flags go off to me. Like if you, but yeah, I don't even want to get into that, but um, there was like a thread that it was possibly the Bloomsville guy, which I wouldn't put it past.
Huh.
Yeah, I
Huh.
mean, it was
That
pretty
would
in
be
depth.
super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like they had all the ties. It looked like it is. I think it is personally, um, but I didn't want to give them any more engagement.
That's that is super interesting. I will have to look into that. Like, do you know they minted on Magic Eden, right?
No, that's they. I don't.
Did they?
No, no, they did
Okay.
not. So
Okay.
you got to think, why didn't they mingle Magic Eden? You know?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point right there, especially since right now, I mean, look, if there's ever a need for launch pads, it's definitely right now. Like you need attention on you in order to mint out. So, um, shit, I don't know.
I guarantee they reached out to Magic Eden. Like everyone wants to be on Magic, and Magic Eden's not the person to turn down free money. They've completely diluted their platform at this point. Like from what I see, like they don't care. But it's like I get it because even like myself trying to like find projects that I find interesting to do like AMS, it's like far and few in between. It's like, do you just wait that long or do you just take everyone? And they've went the route of just taking everyone.
Yeah.
But I DM'd you the thread. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is too many, and then like even the way they are interacting and engaging is like too many. It's just too similar. It's too similar.
Dude,
Uh,
if he gets away with it for a fourth time, like especially in this market too, I feel so bad, dude. Like like I understand why some people are going for mints right now, and they're getting triggered. It's one because they're using it. What I see, and I hate to break it to a lot of people, but they're usually from like countries where like one soul is a lot of money to them. You know what I mean? And I see it a lot. I see it a lot with people that are like I would rather try my luck at a one soul mint or like a two soul mint or something like that versus buy an established project that's down bad right now because I need that instant money and that would make, like a two soul flip would make their whole week, and then shit goes, 50% below mint, they start getting emotional about it and then that's where they start, you know, losing shit. So, and I feel like Soul's attracted a lot because there's no gas costs. Like, and so you get a lot of people that are emotionally invested, or the flippers who think it's going to be super quick, see shit's going sideways and just like are like the most paper-handed motherfuckers I've ever seen. I don't get it. I don't get the emotions of some people, but um, dude, I'm gonna have to look into this. Concerns regarding secret alpha labs. What's even their premise? Like what? And they didn't respond to your grill house, so that's also interesting. Um, hmm,
yeah, I mean, I have
super
much
interesting.
bigger. They're not a very big project. I have like much bigger projects that like reach out to me and then they'll respond. Like Erkan wants to do one. I don't think I'm going to do one with him just because of, give me. I think I'll do one with Degen Town, Duppies, and I mean that dude. Like that's like it, right? Uh,
Yeah, I mean, dude, the only thing I'm at all like even a semblance excited for is Duppies, and that's even if I get whitelist. If not, I guess FUD to the ground. But no, I got to make sure I have enough dust stacked. I think I'm like halfway there right now, but I keep trying to scoop up like right around $1. So I think it's at there right now. But yeah, besides Duppies, dude, I'm like, what else are you excited for? Because I feel like there's nothing that really sticks out to me. I'm like, yes, that's it right there. That's definitely going to be a project that I can see building through this bear market.
I could see that one too. I mean, yeah, dude, because I want to provide content that is not diluted, and if I just do all these projects that are up and coming, that's like semi, it would become immediately diluted, and then people will stop tuning in. But if I do like the less, but I also need like a balance. I can't do like completely less because then I'll do. So it needs to be like a healthy balance for like best results. So I don't know, man. And are you in DGen sweepers at all? I don't want to wait.
No,
Was there a time frame for this video? Because we can close it out if there
no,
was.
you're good, dude. Well, I'm literally just I got another 30 minutes before I have to be to another appointment, so you're good on that front. I allowed usually I kind of plan on an hour, but I usually allow like Shake and I talk for 2 hours, so you are all good. We got like another 25 minutes if you want it. So yeah, I'm first off for those asking for the tweet thread, here it is right here. By Leon Exotic. But yeah, you were talking about sweepers, and I kind of caught a little bit of the grill house last night. I think you brought up like I don't know. I was really turned off by Erkin's inability to pay people and say like, oh shit, like I'm sorry, I'm just so busy. Like, no, you make sure you get your people paid, dude. Like that's business 101. You pay your people, like especially if they're putting in as many hours as that guy claimed to have. So I don't know. That alone turned me off of it, and I was like, yeah, if I see good price action on it, I might check it out. But I don't even know what the premise is, dude. I just like it feels like he's using a platform for platform reasons. I don't know if it's cloud or money or it's just so hard to judge what people's intentions are right now. So I don't really have any interest in it. I know what Frank's intentions are, so that's why I'm like, yeah, Duppy's dope. Let's go. But besides that, yeah, I sweepers didn't really get me excited, and I think what I've heard this past like week or so definitely makes me like okay to sit on the sidelines, and if it explodes, good.
That's dude, Bison. I am in the same boat with you. If it explodes, whatever. It's like I've missed so many explosions now. It's just like doesn't really bother me when I miss one. So I would just not invest, right? I'll just buy. Sorry,
No, you're
I'll just
fine.
buy. I'll just buy whatever I like rather than like trying to flip at this point. If I like something, then I'll just buy it, and if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. And like I do not like the vibes I get from the guy. Like he built a platform off of buying 10D gods, and then the moment like this first mistake was not paying someone, and his ownership is actually his lack of ownership. His first thing was an excuse out of his mouth rather than taking full ownership of his mistake. His first excuse was I was too busy. I run 8 other companies, and I'm just like, dude, he is your staff. Like if you can't respond to your staff, imagine when you have 10,000 person community. You can't respond to like the closest people to you. How are you going to respond to any of you're not? And I think 2 weeks after Mint, it's going to be like a meme. I
Right.
like
Yeah.
his platform was never built off of like doing well for the community, unless you consider buying NFTs doing well for the community. Like that's the problem when you buy NFTs is you create the bull, but then you can also immediately create the bear. And I've seen it with like one of the biggest whales in the space. He listed like a ton of blue chips at a lower price and immediately tanked the floor because his emotions weren't feeling that well that day. Like he bought like 100 of something blue chip, super blue chip, and then everyone loved him. And then he didn't like the decision that was made by that community. So then he immediately listed 20% of his holdings and immediately tanked the floor. So that's kind of like the problem with you people that, and that's how he built his entire follower base was just off of buying like 10D gods.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a silly way to, but and I feel like that's unfortunately like a lot of people conflate like, oh, they swept something at like 3 SOL or something like that, and it went to like 3 million SOL, and like they must be a genius. But you don't really see one that doesn't signal intention or morals or anything like that. That just signals like they made one good trade or play, I guess, if he hasn't sold. And then two, like, do you know how many bad decisions he's probably made before that? Like, he probably made a shit ton. So I don't know. Just basing like it's so funny how fickle people are in the NFT space where it's like if you were to shill something right now, you'd be called a pump and dump person, right? Whereas like this guy made a 1 gigabrain move, and now if he shills something, it's like, oh yeah, let's get in that because he's a gigabrain, and like that makes sense. And that's so funny how fickle people are. It doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm probably in the same. Sounds like I'm in the same boat as you, where I caught a little bit of the grill house last night before I jumped on a call with Remnants. But yeah, we. I think I'm in the same boat where look, at this point, Alex, I feel like there's more risk than reward in minting shit, even if it's hyped up. Like if I don't vibe with it, it doesn't check off a lot of boxes, and I feel like a good amount of big brains are doing the same thing. Then I'm not buying it. And if it explodes like primates did, then good for the people that got in. Claps, hats off to them. There's gonna be more opportunity to make money, and I'll be happy. I'll sleep well knowing I invested in the right people and team.
Yeah, man. Like if your number one intentions are just to make money, then you would, yeah. See, that's why I like you, Bison. You know,
Yes.
I don't know Erkin's intentions. And to get back to your point that he bought he bought terrible. He bought the literal Pico top of D gods. He's I well obviously like Soul's down, so he's down like tremendously on that play.
Whew.
And then to like make matters worse, like their whole roadmap is like based off him sweeping floors. I'm like,
Oh my gosh, dude. Have
yeah,
you okay, pause right there because have you ever heard like a project because I remember back in like November on some of the projects that I was minting, they're like, we're gonna use mint funds to sweep our floors and like everybody's like, yeah, and all that would happen is exactly what you were talking about with kind of pump and dumps, where it's like if the pump's good, the dump is greater. Like if people know you're going to sweep floors, they're just gonna list into you. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So dude, the amount of fucking wee woos that think like a coordinated sweep is good, they don't understand that there's going to be people who hear that and they're just going to dump into that. Like they're like, thanks for the exit liquidity. Doesn't matter who it is. It can be, the worst is obviously coordinating your followers to pump it while you dump it. That's obviously the worst. But there's no better if like some influencers like, yeah, I'm going to sweep all these projects and people are like, okay, thanks for exit liquidity. I guess it's Robinhood kind of, but what does that accomplish for a project? Jack shit. It doesn't accomplish anything. Like a floor price should be based off of merit, not somebody sweeping. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. So
it goes back to the whole like the bull can turn to the bear real quick. Like,
yeah,
and the other issue with like you sweeping, you're not building a community. You're building like one person holding more of a community. If you get multiple people to buy in, that's what you need. That's how you make it, bro. As a community, right? Like give someone like if maybe they can't afford it by like a soul or something. Because I've seen people do this shit, and I thought they built like some of the best community. Like they'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll get you in, but you need to pay 90% of the NFT, and then we'll cover you to 10%. Maybe they can't afford it, and then at least they have some skin in the game. Whereas like they like to do giveaways to get people in, but you got to get them to use their dollars for it to because like, I've won giveaways early on, and I just immediately floored that shit. I'm like, fuck this, I'm just gonna floor it. So I think if you can get people to get skin in the game, get them a little bit involved, then you're going to build a much better community. And sweeping is like tears the community apart, in my opinion.
yeah, absolutely. No, it does. I wanted to take, dude. Justine in chat has been asking a million times, so I'm at least gonna give them the platform. Do you have thoughts on Bohemia's new mint? It looks really good, but not getting traction. Social's kind of stale, so maybe that could be a way you get like some of these more established projects on is if they're doing new mints and kind of grill them on their purpose and see if you can just try to expose like what the mint funds are for. Why are you doing a new mint? Is it for brand illusion? Like, is the way you're doing it for brand illusion? Like just to get some quick cash to extend your runway. Like, I don't know. I think that would be a good way to maybe grill some because I'm seeing it a good bit. I'm seeing some more established projects do some secondary mints um, just to raise funds to get them through the bear market because they mishandled theirs.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're going to have the collection called Fabulous NFT. Use one guru plus one guru letter plus one talisman airdrop, and then you get that. Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't. They look. I like them. I don't own any. I wanted to get on the whitelist for them early on and try to mint them, but then I didn't. But I've always liked them, been a fan of them. Um, I don't see why we couldn't. But I'm looking at their like socials right now. They just had like a tweet 5 hours ago and it has 40 likes. Like they, they could be like I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad, but
Yeah,
um,
you don't have to. You don't have to. You got a platform, man. Don't worry about me. I'm just a guy with like 19 stream followers, so I'll say
oh,
it for you. I'll be your mouthpiece.
No, you're good, bro. I keep on thinking we're like on a bigger space, bro. We could definitely just
No,
talk, dude. Yeah,
dude.
view. I probably won't bring them on because I don't think there's enough people that can get in. Like the only reason people join the space is they get a chance to mint or they get a chance to like buy immediately off secondary. So like there's this big chance of making money, and people love making money. So like upcoming mints are like the the best thing to do an AMA with. And if I do like a secondary AMA off of Bohemia, they just don't have enough hype. It would just
Yeah,
be it would be more of like pumping the Bohemia Art Fair bag. So I'd probably avoid it.
that makes sense. I can see that reasoning working out. Um, okay, couple more questions, then I'm gonna head off because I do have to go prep for this 5:30 appointment. But um, what's it called? Justine was asking, how is Alex both here and a speaker on Twitter Spaces at the same time? It's because there's like 43 of him. That's what the number in his name is. Actually, 42 now. 43's in the space. So, thoughts on reptiles at the moment? Do you want to talk about reptiles at all
Yeah.
before we head out? We can end on that note.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. No, but to get back to the other person in the Twitter space, I'm just there for the algo because I like to help people that I think are doing well for the space, or like not help them, but like just be, you know,
Present. Yeah, it drives audience, and audience is good and gives people platforms. That's using your following for good. I don't see anything wrong with that.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like this is like a very productive YouTube, and like every time you invite me, I'll be there. Like Easy's a very productive Twitter space. Every time he invites me, I'll be there. Like I'm gonna make sure like the Bisons of the world outshine like oh fuck dude there's only nine Jersey NFTs, the one who took 6,500. I tagged you in it.
There we
There's
go.
I tagged you on Twitter, so you can see it. He's a I don't know if you know who Jersey NFT
I
is.
I know who Jersey is. I try I try like I don't want to talk shit about YouTubers because I'm like, well, there's some YouTubers doing well for the space. Like I saw your video with Cool Times, and I fucking love Cool Times because he's funny as fuck. Um, but yeah, there's definitely some people that I look at them and I'm like, huh, it's I don't know. I just feel like the YouTube space needs more like shooting the shit kind of conversations. They need more like platforms for good projects to really show passion. I feel like video is one of the best ways to do so. Like if you see Shake talk about Cyber Samurai, like he just really wants to do good for the space. You know that Walker from Hello Moon really wants to do good for the space. Like it's much easier to read body expression on video. So I usually like with you, I know you want to keep anonymity, like you want to not dox or anything like that. So I respect that, especially since we're just shooting the shit. It's not really important, but I don't know. I'm just trying to build a platform where it's not just talk about like the next potential 100x NFT or anything like that. Like just just want to help good projects and good people. I don't think that's a terrible thing. So um, yeah, dude, that's funny. Uh,
Yeah,
holy
so
shit.
he took 6,500. And getting back to your point, I think you should just fuck off all the other YouTubers and just like focus on yours. Like doesn't matter. Just because as soon as like I personally relied on someone, that's whenever I started doing really bad. I'm like, okay, we'll like collab ish, like with like I'll collab ish with other influencers, and then I just realized it's just like it was never about like forming any type. It was just like and it's better if I just don't rely on any other influencer. So I think you should just keep doing this and like, well, I guess, dude, I don't know, man. No, I don't know because you have Shake like that. He's a good person, but like, it's hard to tell everyone's intentions, and that's where
I
I'm at.
know.
So it's like
Yeah.
I want to like work with people. Is like I don't know, man. It's just I know like your intentions are like I'll do YouTube video with you. I'll do YouTube with Shake, and then maybe and then Cool Times, and then outside of that, dude, like I don't know if I'm really and Easy. I'll do those four. I'll do, and then like outside of that, dude, I don't know. I just don't know enough about people like to like really like what are they doing here?
Yeah. No, it's hard, dude. And I think a lot of people see me be kind of friendly to a lot of projects, but that's because I do a lot of vetting before I even talk to them. And like Hello Moon slid into my DMs because I've been a fan of them since like I found out about them. Like I included them in one of my YouTube videos because I think they're a really good data platform for free. Um, so Right now, yeah, it's pretty easy to just filter out the good projects, but dude, it's gonna get to a point. Like I'm sure eventually I'll do more recorded videos and like edited videos because that's what really builds an audience. And YouTube, I enjoy streaming more. I enjoy live conversation and interacting with the audience like we have right now. But um, hey, edited videos are definitely what drive audience and like optimizing them, doing a bunch of search engine optimization, which is what I do for real estate and stuff. That's what drives an audience. So yeah, I have to go back to that for a little bit, which isn't the end of the world. I don't mind doing it. It's just so time consuming, and this is more of a hobby for me than like I'm aiming to monetize this platform 100%. So um, yeah, I'll we can end it. We can end it on there. What do you think about reptiles? They're building, right? I know you talked to Prez and shit like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
well, we dude, I'm actually like when I joined, it was never like about the Phaeopus.
Flopist.
Yeah, it was never
Yeah,
about that guy. It was like they're with Hydra. Hydra's launching like the fucking heat, and I love the art. And I was like, fuck. And then the person that got me on board was a close, trusted friend, and I know he like did not mean bad at all. Like what happened, like he didn't know. Like he has no like so nothing like person like my personal beliefs didn't change. If anything, we only have 19 people, so I can be bullish right now.
that's right,
Yeah, so it probably get extrapolated. I don't know if this Twitter, if people come back and look at this and be like, "Oh fuck," but
bro. It's an hour and a half. Do you know the attention span of most NFT users is
that's,
like
yeah,
two
dude.
seconds? So
Dude,
you're good.
yeah. So like, I'm a big fan of Prez. I've talked to him a ton of times, and I was like, he may rub people the wrong way. It sounds like on Twitter Spaces because he's like, it's funny because I'm older than him, but he acts like a fucking boomer. But he gives me like the Frank, the Tom vibe where he just doesn't give a fuck about the floor price. He's going to just build right through your bullshit, and that's what he's doing with the Hydra Launchpad. They stopped it for a while, and he's just going to build right through it. And those are the type of people that, like I said, I don't care about the floor price. I care about like the time, and I know that they're not going anywhere. Like they've already had their sea chances for X amount of months, and I like the reptile art. Dude, it just fucking sucks that it has like the whole backstory and
Dude,
I,
it does. It's gonna be hard to break that, but I think I mean, look, I liked Hydra for unfortunately they recruited some bad actors. Like some of the people that are in Hydra were just shitheads. And like, dude, how do you vet that? It goes back to the same thing where it's like Web3 is very much the wild wild west where it's very hard to judge the intentions of somebody that you hire on. And I would say the one bearish thing I had about them is like corporate structure was not there at all, and they were like a company in my opinion. So I'm glad they're like kind of going back and fixing that shit. But dude, they needed to have way more corporate structure and corporate agreements for the launchpad side of business. You know what I mean? Like that is a full on business where an NFT project is still very infantile and kind of like a startup, and that's I'm fine with having looser business organization. But yeah, once you got the Hydra launchpad out there, I think that was the one thing where I'm like, dude, why why didn't you like have people sign agreements and like prevent this kind of shit from happening? That should have been foresight. That would have been the first thing I would have been skeptical about when hiring somebody. It's like, hey, we're gonna get really good incentives for this. Don't abuse them or have like a vested period or something.
exactly. Yeah, I know everyone was like honed in on. I don't know. It sounds like you were on that Twitter space, maybe. Were you when we were dunking on
Uh,
him?
there was yeah there was definitely some points that I cut. Again, I stay in Twitter Spaces for if I'm lucky I can stay in them for like 30 minutes, but I usually have shit to do, so I can't like actively listen to them. But yeah, I definitely caught that portion where like he said some really good things. I feel like that happens a lot. Like I mean, shit, it's really hard to judge intention, but dude, like it's one thing to do it for sea shanties or something like that, where it's like, we know we shit the bed, we're kind of a startup, but if you're helping other people start up, you have to be a company. You have to organize yourself as a corporate structure. Um, I feel like just having at least an agreement with somebody. Like I don't even care where you're, dude. When people are getting butthurt about where the LLC is located or something like that, like, bro, nobody gives a fuck. You should LLC in Delaware, Nevada, or Wyoming if you guys are watching this. Best place to put your LLC. But uh, besides that, dude, just have corporate structure. Like have an agreement with somebody. That's all I really care about. Is like prevent that shit from happening because they're an extension of your brand. You have to be on top of that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not a big legality person. It sounds like they fucked up big time. And dude, getting back to your point, they had a bunch of scumbags in there, and that goes back to the whole like priorities of human beings. Like, is money your number one priority? A lot of them motherfuckers had number one priority, number one. I've given like Prez all my feedback personally. Like,
Right.
obviously everyone's dunked on him at this point, but he is, like I said, he's given me like the Frank Tomba. Like, people were dunking on Frank hard as fuck in January about how he's like a rugger and how he's not doing anything for the project, and just like constantly, because I was like a D God day oneer, and I've seen like the involvement of him. Like, he went from like a Charmander, like a Charizard with 5 heads, where he just fucking kills everything now. So, but I like, the thing about him was the consistency, and like that's what I see in Prez, and that's why I don't give a fuck what the reptiles do. I'll just let them go to. I personally, I'm not. I don't think I'll ever even sell one. I minted all mine. I don't think I'll ever sell any of them because of like what happened and everything. Uh, we only have 5 minutes. I could give you the whole back if that's interesting. I don't know if it's interesting only because it's talking about me. But getting back to Prez, dude, I think so. I was talking to him. I don't know what type of information he put out. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna put it out anyways. He's rebuilding the launch pad. I think
Okay.
everyone knows that. He
Yeah.
has two mints coming up. This is this type of shit that pisses me off. I'm like, dude, what mints are they? Dude, they're super hype. But I can't tell you. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? If they're super hype, I know about them. Like
I literally host the grill house that everybody's wanted to get on. Like they're going to come to me at some point. I'm gonna find out. Just
dude,
fucking tell me.
exactly, and that kind of worried me because I'm like, what? That tells me that you are scared of competition. You're scared of like Magic Eden trying to take away, trying to take your business away, like which he shouldn't be. Like that's a
No.
sign for me when I heard him not tell me what fucking projects he's. I hate when people do that, but no, to get like dunked on and like so hard by like, and he just takes it to the face, and he like, it just doesn't matter. It seems like it just doesn't fucking matter. He'll just keep on going forward. And that's, dude, I love that type of fucking mentality where they just doesn't matter. They're going forward. Doesn't like, they know they had shitty employees. I hope they got rid of them. They said they did. I don't know. I need to see like proof. I haven't really
Right.
seen proof. Like, the people that were selling like the whitelist tokens definitely need gone. I told them that there was someone that got a rare. Apparently people from the team minted rares at the end, and then, like, they only minted one, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna tell me they waited for the very end to
Uh
mint
huh.
like the rares like that? You don't see like the issue with that? Like, you don't see like coincidence with that? Because it took like over an hour to mint out, and you're gonna tell me they waited with their one whitelist token the whole hour to then finally hit mint? No, fuck that. That's too
Yeah.
much of a coincidence that um to be a coincidence. But it is
Super
five
sus.
it is 5:27. Thank you for letting me come up here and talk shit.
Dude, I'm glad I can give you like a grassroots platform, my friend, where you don't have a ton of people listening or like, kind of scheming in the corner. The people that tuned in, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Alex, it's a pleasure. I will have you on again sometime in the future, I'm sure, and we'll just kind of shoot the shit. Hopefully, it's not too much bigger because I do like having these candid conversations with you. I guess we could always have them offline, but what fun is that, dude? I have to go in and edit them and cut out all the alpha. That's no fun, dude. So for the people who stayed, yo, thank you guys so much. Yes, all the hearts, all the hearts. Thank you guys so much. Um, Pleasure, Alex. I'll let you get back to spaces. I'll see you on the next grill house. Um, and yeah, dude, let me know if I can help you out at all. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, it did help me, man. I got to get on your YouTube, man. Sick.
I appreciate it, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next space.
See ya.
All right, y'all. Man, what a blessing that I get to like Alex. Alex is a really cool guy. Like I think a lot of people just give him a lot of shit for no reason. Um, and so to have him kind of be transparent about not abusing his platform, I think is really cool. So just having him in a candid conversation, like this is why I stream. I love talking to like Shake and Hilla Moon and Alex, not having to worry about like being careful what he says, but he also was because he's just aware of it. So I don't know, Dude, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe down below. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, Samurai. Pow pow, my friend. Um, Rye, thank you so much. Verbo, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. And yeah, I will be doing more edited videos going over like NFT tools, tips, tricks, any sort of alpha I find. But yeah, I'm not trying to be the next 100x NFT YouTuber. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to give you guys like an honest platform that will give you the tools of the trade and give you insight to like honest conversations with good people. So um, yeah, pow pow, samurai. That's it. I gotta go. Holy shit, it's 5:30. I will see you on the next stream. Peace.